Hello guys and girls. Today I'm continuing my playthrough of Bioshock, the original game from 2007, which I personally think it's still amazing. And I wanted to talk about something different today, which is first not very related necessarily with the game itself. And this is plasmids. So what are plasmids exactly in real life and what are in the game? In real life, plasmids are basically small pieces of DNA which are shaped in a circle. So they are circular DNA, and they originally exist naturally inside bacteria, and that's bacteria actually exchange this with one another to make up for the fact that they don't have a sexual reproduction, and to introduce some genetic variety in their among their kind. And the way they do this is by basically elongating a sort of membrane and cytoplasm arm or penis in this case, and basically transfer their genetic material in the form of this plasmid from one bacteria to the another. And in this way they exchange genetic information and also some abilities. For instance, the ability to resist a certain antibiotic. This is why plasmids exist in nature, but we humans are now able to, in biological research and in medical applications, to use these plasmids to make basically hack the bacteria. And the way you do this is that you have a sequence of DNA that you can insert, of interest, that you can insert inside this plasmids. There are some enzyme which can open this circle of DNA, which is the plasmid, and insert another sequence in between and close everything up, so that this sequence of interest is embedded inside the plasmid itself. And this way you can basically insert this sequence inside the plasmid, and this plasmid then can go inside the bacteria. You can introduce the plasmid inside the bacteria through certain operations, such as electroporation, whereby basically with an electrical charge you open up holes in the membrane of the bacteria. Now, why do we do this? Why do we want to insert this foreign genetical material in bacteria? One reason, as I said, is to hack the bacterium into producing something that we want it to produce, which is not native of the bacteria. One example would be human insulin. If you want to produce insulin for diabetes patients, you can human insulin. You can do this with this technique, and this is of course a big advancement compared to what happened until not many years ago, where you had to use insulin extracted from the pig, which is similar to the human insulin, but it's not quite the same. So this is for sure a better technique. Another way that these plasmids can be used is to introduce, for instance, a piece of DNA that you really don't know exactly necessarily what sequence it is. but you want to find out. For instance, when there is the victim of a crime and you find hair or traces of semen of an aggressor, or traces of his skin under the fingernails of the victim, and this is usually very, very little DNA that you can extract. So in order to sequence this DNA and in the end arrive to the to identify the aggressor, you have first to amplify this DNA. And one way to do this is to, for instance, put this DNA, small fragments of DNA, inside the plasmid, and then put the plasmid inside the bacteria, and have the bacteria then replicate this DNA, and this way you can you can finally find out who is you can sequence that DNA, and by making matches you can find out who the culprit was. So I hope this is might be of interest for some of you. It might not. In that case, I encourage you to skip this video. Now let's see what happens here when we take the plasmid in the video game. Now, what happens here is that basically the character here is injecting plasmids inside of him in his circulation. And this is obviously, from a scientific standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. It's impossible. But it's a very, very nice device in this game to basically give you what it could be said to be superpowers or magical powers. Okay, so now we are again at this sequence that I already showed you in the previous video, and this is the end of this short video in which I try to explain what plasmids are, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the next episode of this series. Bye.